It's amazing how quickly a sentence can become a fracture line in your life. She said it so casually, like she'd said it 100 times before. Don't wait up tonight, babe. I've got a late one. I nodded, said, no problem, even smiled. But something about the way she avoided eye contact stuck with me. The way she grabbed her bag too quickly. The way her keys were already in her hand before she kissed me goodbye. Claire and I had been married for 6 years. The kind of couple people described as stable, which is just a polite way of saying we didn't argue in public and remembered each other's coffee orders. She was an HR manager at a mid-sized architecture firm across town. Tight deadlines, overworked teams. Late nights were part of the deal. At least they used to be. Lately, they'd been happening more often, twice a week, sometimes 3, always with the same vague excuse: last-minute reports, payroll stuff, end-of-quarter numbers, no real details, no photos, no tired voice on a late-night call, just silence. Then came the receipts. One Tuesday night, I emptied the trash in her car and found a small, crumpled parking stub, not from her office lot downtown, but from a private garage across the street. Same date, timestamp 7:43 p.m. It made no sense. Her building had its own underground parking. Why pay for another one? That night, she came home after 11, hair neat, makeup still fresh, smelling faintly of something floral I didn't recognize. I didn't say anything, just stared at her from across the kitchen while she reheated pasta and scrolled her phone like everything was fine. I didn't sleep much after that. By Thursday, I'd convinced myself I was being paranoid, jealous, overthinking, but I couldn't shake it, so I did something I'm not proud of. I emailed the front desk of her building. Hi, I'm trying to confirm access logs for an employee who left her keycard at home. Can you let me know if Claire Reynolds used her badge to enter last night? I signed it as a fake name and used a burner email. To my surprise, someone responded. Claire Reynolds scanned in at 6:04 p.m. on Tuesday and exited at 6:37 p.m. No additional entries after that time. That was it. She told me she was working late, but she was gone before 7. So where was she until after 11? And who was she with? I didn't ask her that night, or the next. I just sat with it, let it rot in my stomach like bad meat. Then, 1 week later, I got the answer. It came from a guy I barely knew. Marcus, a freelance IT consultant I'd met at a mutual friend's poker night. Claire had mentioned once that he helped install the new security cameras at her firm. I messaged him casually. Hey man, random favor. Any idea if your old office still keeps footage from the 5th floor? Asking for a buddy. Long story. He wrote back. They store archives for 30 days. Why? I think my wife's not being straight with me. 10 minutes later. What's the date time you're curious about? I gave him the night of the parking garage receipt. Tuesday, 7:45 p.m. onward. He didn't respond until the next day. You're not gonna like it. Sending you something. A link. Password protected. I waited until Claire left for a late meeting that night, then opened the file on my laptop in the dark, headphones on. The video was silent. Time code 8:16 p.m. Claire, in the office lounge, not alone. A man walked in, tall, dark hair. I didn't recognize him at first. Then I realized it was Jeremy, one of the junior architects she'd mentioned once or twice. Said he was new and awkward and always needed coaching. He wasn't awkward in the video. He walked straight to her, and she stood up to meet him. And then they kissed. No hesitation, no looking over their shoulders, like they'd done it before, like they'd been doing it. I sat there for a long time after the video ended. Then I played it again. Because the worst part wasn't watching it. The worst part was knowing. Deep down, I already knew. The second time I watched the video, I noticed her body language. The way she laughed, not nervously, but easily. The way her hand touched his chest like it had been there before. The way she leaned in just before he did. There was no guilt on her face, no hesitation, and that wrecked me more than the kiss itself. I shut my laptop and just sat there. My heart was thudding, but I felt numb. Like my brain had pulled a fire alarm and left my body behind to deal with the smoke. I didn't cry. Not then. I think part of me was still hoping there was another explanation. That maybe it was a moment of weakness. Maybe it was one kiss. Maybe this wasn't what it looked like, even though it was exactly what it looked like. At 11:14 p.m., I heard her key in the lock. I closed the laptop, wiped my face even though I hadn't cried, put put on a sitcom I didn't care about and waited. Claire walked in, same breezy energy. "Hey, babe," she said, dropping her bag. "You still up?" "Yeah," I said. "Late night?" She nodded and opened the fridge. "Meeting ran long. Total mess. You'd think grown adults could agree on simple deadlines." I stared at her from the couch. She was wearing the same earrings from the video. Her blouse was unwrinkled, makeup still perfect. She didn't smell like the office. She smelled like his cologne. I realize that now. Something warm and sharp. Not mine. "You eat?" I asked. "No, starving," she said, pulling out leftovers. I watched her microwave a plate of food, watched her eat while scrolling Instagram, like everything was fine, like we weren't sitting on a landmine. And the worst part? She was good at this. Flawless, even. By the time we got in bed, I felt like a stranger sleeping next to someone wearing my wife's skin. She fell asleep quickly. I didn't sleep at all. The next morning, I did something I never thought I'd do. I called out of work. Then I drove across town to Jeremy's apartment. I'd found his address through a friend in the permitting office. No questions asked. I sat in my car for 20 minutes, rehearsing what I would say. Then I got out and knocked on his door. He opened it wearing gym shorts and a t-shirt. His hair was still wet from a shower. When he saw me, he froze. "Matt, right?" he asked, clearly trying to play it cool. I didn't respond. "You want to come in?" Or, "No," I said. "You know why I'm here." His jaw clenched. I looked him dead in the eye. "How long?" He rubbed his face. "Man, I don't—" "How long?" I said again, louder. He glanced around the hallway like someone might hear. "Couple months," he muttered. I didn't mean for it to happen. It just did. I wanted to hit him. I didn't. "I saw the video," I said. That shut him up. "Claire said she was working late. You were the late, huh?" "Look, it wasn't supposed to be serious," he said, stepping back. "It was just things got out of hand." "Does she know you don't think it's serious?" I asked. Because from where I'm standing, it looked like the two of you were real comfortable. He didn't answer. I nodded. That's what I thought. Then I turned and walked away. Not because I didn't want to fight, but because I knew the person I really needed to talk to wasn't him. It was her. That night, I sat Claire down at the kitchen table. She looked worried immediately. "What's going on?" "I know," I said quietly. "About you and Jeremy." Her face went pale. "I saw the video," I added. "From the office cameras." Silence. Then she whispered, "How long have you known?" "Long enough." She didn't cry. She didn't yell. She just closed her eyes and let out a long, exhausted breath, like she'd been holding it in for weeks, and finally let herself exhale. "I didn't mean for you to find out like this," she said, and that hurt almost more than the affair, like the method of discovery was the problem, not the betrayal itself. "Do you love him?" I asked. She hesitated. "I don't know," she said. "I didn't plan any of this." "Did you plan to lie every time you said you were working late?" She didn't answer, and that told me everything I needed to know. Claire stared down at her hands, fingers twisted together like she was holding something in. "I swear to you," she said finally, "I didn't go looking for this. Jeremy just paid attention, asked how I was doing, listened. It started as venting, and then—" I cut her off. "And then you decided to cheat on your husband." She flinched. "Good." "I didn't plan it," she said again, quieter now. "That doesn't make it better," I said. "It makes it worse." Because what she was describing wasn't a one-night mistake or some drunken accident. It was deliberate, sustained. A second life built one small decision at a time. Every late night, every half-truth, every goodbye kiss that she knew was a lie. She looked up at me. "I don't hate you, Matt." "Cool," I said. I wish that mattered. We sat in silence for a long time, just the ticking of the kitchen clock between us, the one we bought on a road trip 4 years ago, when things still felt easy. "I think I was lonely," she said eventually. "We were barely talking. You were always working. And I just started to feel invisible. I wanted to scream, to throw something. Instead, I leaned back in my chair and looked at the ceiling. "You could have told me that," I said. "Instead of pretending. Instead of smiling and nodding and playing the part while you were sneaking around." She nodded. "I know." I stood up. "So what now?" She didn't answer right away. "I think we should take space," she said finally. That was her way of avoiding the word separation. And maybe I should have fought harder Maybe I should have asked her to stay and work through it. But the truth is, the moment I saw that video, something cracked inside me that couldn't be unbroken, so I just nodded. "I'll stay at Ryan's for a while," I said. "You can have the house." Tears filled her eyes, but she didn't stop me. She didn't say, "Don't go." That hurt more than anything else. I packed that night, just a bag. Essentials. I didn't want to drag it out. As I was leaving, she stood by the door, arms crossed like she was hugging herself. "Matt, I'm sorry," she said. I looked at her one last time. "So am I." Then I walked out. It's been 7 weeks. We haven't spoken since. I filed for divorce last Tuesday. She didn't contest. Jeremy? From what I hear, that fizzled fast. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe it was never real. Maybe they both realized the fantasy doesn't hold up in daylight. I don't care. What I do care about is this. That moment I watched the footage. When I saw the truth with my own eyes, something in me changed. Not just the marriage ending, but who I am. Because I used to believe that trust could survive almost anything. Now I know better. Sometimes the person you kiss goodbye in the morning already belongs to someone else by sundown, and no camera can prepare you for that.